Today we're going to be unboxing and installing the latest Lumary Smart Landscape Lights Pro. These aren't just any outdoor lights, they're a game changer. So let's dive in. So I've been living here for quite a while, but one big area that has never gotten a ton of attention is the backyard. And that's something that I want to change. We've added things like the gazebo, the chairs, and a little garden, but one thing that has never been really good on this house is the lighting in the backyard. And thanks to Lumary, we are going to be able to address that. These are a little bit nicer than your typical outdoor lights. These are actually RGB, app controlled with Wi-Fi connection. So let's open up the box, see what's inside, and learn a little bit more about them. So you get a little instruction book. There is a remote. Now, once again, these are Wi-Fi, so you can actually connect them to your house, connect via the app that we will download and go over, as well as it can work with Alexa or Google Home. These are the stakes in the event that you're installing it in the ground. They can also be mounted to any other hard surfaces. Like I might mount them to the gazebo here, that way I can keep them off the ground, a little less likely to get kicked or anything like that. Here is your power block, the controller, and then each of the lights themselves. And these are 36 watt output with about 3,000 lumens of light. And they're built pretty well. These are all metal body to them. A waterproofing in the back. The cables look quite sturdy. And we've got a fair amount of wire in between with waterproof plugs to connect each one to each other. So we went ahead and got them connected here. Everything's out of the box and laid out on the table. You have 6 lights in this kit. Stakes for each one if you're installing them into the ground. If you are going to mount them on another surface, you will have to provide your own screws or whatever mounting method you do want to do with that. But there is a nice little ring on the back side here with a hole, so it will not be very hard to connect that. We do have a remote as well, and the instruction booklet, along with the controller and plugs and all that stuff that I actually have already hooked up. So the first thing we're going to do is download the app, and it is just the Lumary. It's on both app stores for Apple or Android, and I've already installed it, so we'll go ahead and open it up. And so the first thing we're going to do is to add a device. So it's going to open up to this front screen here. We just hit add device, and you can see it's already discovering and has found our lights. We're gonna hit add, and we'll go ahead and connect to the Wi-Fi here. Now, for connection on these, you are gonna wanna be on a 2.5 gigahertz, not a 5 gigahertz connection. So make sure that you do connect to your 2.5. I know my default is 5G, but we're gonna go ahead and connect to our 2.5. So we're gonna go right back over there, and you can see it has found the same connection that we're on for the Wi-Fi, so we're gonna go ahead and do that. So you can see there we have the Wi-Fi that we're connected to, and our password is already populated. You may need to actually enter in your password, so just keep that in mind. We hit next, and it is currently connecting to the lights. Now, if the lights are not flashing, then it's not in the pairing mode, so you do want to make sure the lights are flashing. If they are not, you can push hard push the button on this controller. If you just hold that down, it will start in the pairing mode once again, so you can connect. And we have connected, so now we can just hit done, and we are good to go. So we're gonna go ahead and decide how many lights we have in our system. You can go as high as 48 and as few as 5. So obviously in this kit we have 6, so we're gonna choose 6, and we're gonna hit confirm. So you see we're jumping in here right off the bat on the white screen. You can choose what shade of white that you want it to be, and it will change to whatever color you've picked. And you can go to the color section where you can actually choose what color you want each one to be. You have both a little block selector here where you can choose what color you want them to run, or you can go into this little larger section here where you can actually have a lot more control over what color shade that you're trying to achieve. You also have some preset flow modes where they will actually alternate between different colors. Rainbow, flow. You can also change the side here. If you change to this little squiggly line here, you can actually take control of each one individually, and you can change whatever sections that you want. So there you go, I got a blue and red. And let's say I want to add a little yellow in there. I can go ahead and do yellow sections as well, just like that. So basically choose the color that you want, select which light you want it to be that color, and that can be your setup. You want to turn off a light, you just hit that eraser choose which light you want, and that'll turn it right off. You also have a main power line here. So let's say they were all on, you want to turn them off real quick. You just hit the power button right like that, and it will turn them right off. So you can go into the scene selection area here, and there are actually a few different styles that you can choose from. You see flow, rainbow. For me, this would probably be the one that I run at least for Christmas time, and then switch over to like just a solid white for normal times throughout the year. But in here, what you can do is you can actually hit the 3 dots up in the top corner here, and you can change which colors you're choosing. So like in the case of Christmas, I think I would rather have red, green, and white. And now I can change the speed that it changes, hit preview, and it will actually play that mode through. I'm gonna speed it up a little bit. And as you can see, it's just rotating between those 3 colors. So then when I get a mode set up, I can add colors, I can do things like that if I want to. Then I would just hit save as up in the top corner, and we will call this the rainbow, and hit confirm. And now we have our new DIY section that we've created with different colors that can rotate between, which I think will really good on the house. Like I said, the back side is very bare. I do have a lot of neighbors in the back that can see the lighting on the house and things like that, so other people will actually see it, as well as just lighting up my backyard, which is the main purpose of this install. The front yard has plenty of lighting. It's pretty good up there. The backyard it needs some help, and this is where this kit is perfect for this. And beyond that, you can even go down to the music side where these different modes will dance to input from your phone speakers. So if you're having a get together or something and you want to make your lights dance to some kind of music that you have going on, that is where this page will come in. And then you also have your timer plans. Now, the timer side here is a little bit limited in what it can do. So like case in point, I open it up here and you can do perform action. You can the switch that moves the light or turn on the lights to execute the scene. So basically you could make it so that at a certain time it will turn on a certain scene. But it's not, for me, I want a little bit more control over like every day at this time it turns on to this scene, and every day at this time it turns the lights off. That's the kind of automation that I want to do. So I'm actually going to go back to this main screen here, and when you see the scene section, what we're going to do is we're going to create an automation scene. So when you create that scene, we can go ahead and do a schedule. And there are a few different options on here. You can do based on weather. You can do it based on device input. Like if you were to add sensors or something like that, you can actually make it where the lights would turn on when a sensor detects movement or something. So, you know, that might come in really handy depending on what you're installing or what your setup is. And I may actually add a sensor like that in the future where, you know, if I walk outside, the lights automatically turn on. And when I walk back in, you know, so many seconds later, they would turn back off. Now, I don't have anything like that right now. So what we're going to do a schedule. So we're set up a schedule here, and I want to set it up that every day at 5 p.m. It's starting to get a little bit darker here now. So every day at 5 p.m. And we're going to change that. You can see the repeat. It says once. You click on that, and you can actually select all the days of the week, or let's say you want to do something different on the weekends than you do the weekdays or something like that. You can create multiple automations here so that it will do it on the day that you prefer. So 5 p.m. Then you have the then section, which decides, okay, so at 5 p.m., what do you want to happen? Right now being Christmas, I'm going to go ahead and set a smart scene. So under then, you're going to select what you want to do. If you have smart scenes programmed in, you can choose that. You can do a send notification, delay action. In my case, I'm going to do control a single device. So I'm going to choose our outdoor lights here, and I want them to turn on at 5. What mode do I want? White, music, sync, a scene. Let's do a scene. Brightness, I do want it to be at full, so I'm just going to slide that all the way to 100. Temperature, I'm not doing white or anything. I'm going to do an actual scene, so I'm not going to mess with that. Countdown, that would be like maybe it starts a timer and then it will turn on at the end of that timer. Not sure what LED point set is, so that I will have to look into. So we'll hit next, And I've got it set to turn the lights on at 5 o'clock every day. Then you have validity scope. So let's say you don't want your lights to turn on when it's raining. You can go in here and you can actually set it to say that if it's raining, it won't do this, or if it's doing this, it won't do that. Now, a lot of this will require some extra sensors that you install in your house. So if that is something that you want to have certain parameters where it won't turn on in this condition or this circumstance, you may have to look into some extra add-ons to give you that feature. But the fact that it's there and you can easily add it at a later date is a pretty nice perk to this kit. And then more settings would just be choosing what executes this actual plan. And right now, cloud is the only option that we have. So we're gonna go ahead and save that, and we're gonna call this our lights on. So now let's create an automation the same way, but this one will be a lights off automation. So everything else is gonna be the same, just we're gonna do a lights off. And as you can see, we now have a lights on and a lights off animation. So that means that every day it will automatically turn my lights on at 5 p.m. and it will turn them off at 1 a.m. is the time that I set. So for me, that's gonna be ideal. I don't have to worry about nothing. I'll install everything, plug it up, make sure it looks real good at night. And then, you know, push comes to shove, the backside of my house will look nice, well lit up, and I won't have to worry about not being able to see when I come outside. So that gives you an idea on the app, and obviously with anything that's app-based, things can change and their updates may come that offer new changes, new interfaces with other components within the lineup. We do have some other Lumary products that we're going to be installing here in the future, and I'm kind of anxious to see how they interact with each other within that same system in the app and different things. And you know, by no means am I an expert on this app or the setup. There's definitely a lot more to it than I even know at this point. So, you know, play with it. That should give you a pretty good starting point. And from there, just expand on your own knowledge by playing around and seeing what kind of things you can create and what kind of modes you can create. We're gonna go ahead and get this going and start installing on the back side here. So install is easy. You just take your stake, push it down in the dirt. And then screw the light into the stake. So you can see I space them out about 7 to 8 feet between each one. Now you're gonna have to measure your house to determine how far apart you're gonna need to place them, and if you may even potentially need more than 6 lights. Now another factor you're gonna have to keep in mind is the electrical box, the controller, and the power box. Now I was able to put them all inside this box here, but you'll have to determine what is the best method to keep everything watertight so that nothing gets shorted out.